So today we are doing the evaluating expressions note. Let me just zoom this in a little bit. It's really far away. Okay, that's a little bit better. Evaluating expressions. So evaluate is a word that just means to solve, to find the value of, or to solve. Let's get that in focus, shall we? There we go. Evaluate means to solve. An algebraic expression is a math phrase with no equal sign. So this can include variables, numbers, and operations. Let's get some examples here. An example of an expression could be the number 3. It could be 6x. It could be y, just another variable. Or it could be 17x minus 5. Any of those are expressions. So an expression is an algebraic phrase, a math phrase, with no equal sign. So not an equation, that's the difference. Equation, equal sign. You kind of hear that equal in the word equation. So let's look at substitution here. So in this, you're not going to be doing anything you haven't done except for substituting. That's the only new thing, because you guys have been doing PEMDAS and GEMDAS for a really long time now. So the only thing we're adding here is to substitute. Okay? Now to substitute, that means to replace. Just like a substitute teacher comes in and replaces the teacher when they're not there. So we're going to substitute in values. So when you see an expression like 2y plus 5x minus 12, I can't do anything with that because I don't know what y and x equal. But if they tell me that x equals 3 and y equals negative 4, I can substitute those values in. So we put them in with parentheses. Very important that you put these in with parentheses. Okay, so let's look at this first one. Evaluate 2y plus 5x minus 12. So I'm going to color code my variables, make it a little bit easier. So y is going to be pink, x is going to be blue. X equals 3, y equals negative 4. So that means everywhere I see an x in this problem, I'm going to replace it with the number 3 by substituting. Everywhere I see a y, I'm going to replace it with negative 4. So if I look down here at my problem, I had 2 times y, so 2 times negative 4, there's my y, plus 5 times x, 5 times 3, minus 12. So that's where they're coming from there. I'm just plugging them in. And now that I just have this expression, I can just use GEMDAS to tell me what to do. So here I would do a multiplication first. So I'm going to circle what I would do because everything I don't circle is going to just come down to the next step. So when I circle 2 times negative 4 and get negative 8, everything else is just coming down. Everybody see that? So this is just coming down, that's just coming down. Now I would do this one, 5 times 3, that's where 15 comes from, and this would come down, and that would come down. Okay, then I do negative 8 plus 15, which is going to give me 7, and so the negative 12 comes down. Final step here, 7 minus 12 would give me that negative 5. And that's it. That's it. You're substituting and using the order of operations. Let's try one on the back. Alright, evaluate. Negative 6y divided by 2 plus 5y minus 10 if y equals 4. So y equals 4, so everywhere I see a y, I'm going to replace it with the number 4. So this should be negative 6 in parentheses 4 divided by 2 plus 5 in parentheses 4 minus 10. Now the really important thing here is that I have to know what this means. When I put it in parentheses next to it, just because it's in parentheses does not mean it's a group. When I have just a number in parentheses, I can't do anything. It's not a group unless there's actually an operation in there for me to do. So I'm going to put GEMDAS down the side so I remember what to do. So first thing here I need is a group. And now that we switched to GEMDAS from PEMDAS, I want to tell you what groups involves. So a group can be a parentheses, like a 2 minus 3. It can be an absolute value, an absolute value of 4. it can be this part, the top of a fraction. So this big fraction bar, that means divide. You have to do what's on top of the fraction bar before I can divide. That makes that a group. So that's what you're also going to see as a group. So if I look at this first one, see negative 6 times 4 divided by 2 plus 5 times 4 minus 10. This is a group. Negative 6 times 4 is a group. It's on top of the fraction. I have to do it before I could do that divide. So negative 6 times 4, that's negative 24. And then everything else is going to come down. So that 2, the plus 5 times 4 minus 10. Alright, and now done with groups, no exponents. So I'm doing multiply and divide, and you're going to do these from left to right. So from left to right, my divide's going to come first. Negative 24 divided by 2, that's negative 12. Everything else comes down. So plus 5 times 4 minus 10. Right, I've got one more multiply here, this 5 times 4, which is 20. And everything else is going to come down, my minus 10 and my plus negative 12. Alright, so everything I didn't circle is coming down. Let's do the next one. So now I'm done with multiply and divide. I'm going to do addition, subtraction, also from left to right. So here's the first part. Negative 12 plus 20. I'm running out of space, so I'm going to move this guy right up here. Negative 12 plus 20 is negative positive 8 minus 10. 8 minus 10 is my last step, and here I would get negative 2. So here's my answer, negative 2. So something to remember is when you have a coefficient next to a variable, that means multiply. This is negative 6 times y. So that's why I put this in parentheses to remind me that that means times. This isn't 64, this is negative 6 times 4. Same thing with the 5 times 4. 5 times y, 5 times 4. Not 54. Let's look at the next one. Next one, I've got some w's. So it tells me here that w is equal to 3. So that means everywhere I see a w, I'm going to replace it with the number 3. So let's do it. W to the third power. So 3 to the third power minus 3 minus 5 plus 7 times 3. Right? And I'm going to highlight those again so you can see exactly where that W was. That's where it was. Those 3's come from. W equals 3. So now let's do it. Alright, groups. So group right in the middle here, 3 minus 5. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. Okay, I'm going to put that back in parentheses because sometimes it's hard to find that negative sign if I don't. A lot of times you'll see negative numbers in parentheses. And that's why we talked about if a number by itself is in parentheses, it's not a group. There's nothing I can do with a negative 2. It's just a negative 2. We put it there so that when I put a minus here in front of it, it's not so confusing. So 3 to the third minus, and then plus 7 times 3. Right, I did the group. Now I have an exponent. 3 to the third. So that means 3 times 3 times 3. Right, 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. So this is 27. Everything else comes down. So let me circle that. That's what I just did. 27 minus negative 2 plus 7 times 3. Alright, I did exponents. Let's do multiply and divide from left to right. I'm going to do 7 times 3. 7 times 3 is 21. Everything else comes down. The plus, the negative 2, the minus, the 27. Alright, I've done multiplying and division. Let's do add and subtract from left to right. So from left to right, 27 minus negative 2. So I could use keep, change, change here. Keep, change, change. That's 29 plus 21. My last step here is to add 29 plus 21, which is 50. There's your answer. Alright, let's look at the next one. So the next one has two variables. So here's where my colors come in again. M is equal to 2. S is equal to -4. So everywhere I see an M, I'm going to put a 2. Everywhere I see an S, I'm going to put a 4. Okay? So I start here, it says S, so that's 4, plus M is 2 to the 4th power, divided by 5. There it is. Put my GEMDOS over here to help me. Alright, I do have a group. So this whole quantity here, 4 plus 2 to the 4th, is a group. Since there's more than one thing to do in those parentheses, I have to again follow the order of operations. So if I only look at this, if I only look at 4 plus 2 to the 4th, there's an exponent in there. So that's what I'm going to do first. 2 to the 4th power means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. And times 2 again is 16. So that's 16. So everything else comes down. 4 plus 16 divided by 5. Now I can do what else is in the group, this addition. 4 plus 16 is 20. Finish the group. No more exponents. Now I've got to multiply and divide. So 20, the negative, that's my 5, and 20 divided by 5 is 4. There it is. Alright, last one. And this is the one that tricks students sometimes. So don't get tricked. Don't get tricked. We've got 3 variables here. I've got an M, an E, and a K. So I'm going to make M blue, and make E pink. Okay, and I'm going to make K, let's see, what do I have here? I'm going to give it a red underline. Okay, so it doesn't always have to be highlighter. We can use underlining in boxes. So everywhere I see an M, I need to put a 3. Everywhere I see an E, I need to put a 4. Everywhere I see a K, I need to put a 2. Now it's tempting to put this as 342, but that's not what this says. This actually is saying M times E times K. You also could see it as M, E, K. Those are all ways to show multiplication. And with this one, we could even put it in a bigger bracket, showing that that's a group. Okay, so I'm going to plug them in. So negative 3, 4, 2. Bigger brackets around there. You could also have it as negative 3 times 4 times 2. That's the same thing. Same thing. As long as you're recognizing that those 3 numbers are being multiplied, then you're good. Alright, so I would start here with the 3 times 4. Okay, so let's circle that. So our color coding here too. There's K, K, M, E. Okay, that's where they're coming from there. So again, I'm going to do 3 times 4 first. Either way I do it. 3 times 4 is 12. So here I'd have 12 times 2. And here I would also have 12 times 2. 12 times 2 is 24. So this is just negative 24. Either way you look at it. Alright, so those are the notes on valuing